Hey guys, welcome to my favourite activities to do with my toddler at home. I hope you get some inspiration from this video on how to keep your little ones entertained too. The first activity is cloud dough. It's really easy to make and it's a super fun consistency. All you need is baby oil and flour. You can swap the baby oil for vegetable oil if you're afraid your little one will try and eat it. Add 4 cups of flour to a bowl. Then add half a cup of baby oil or vegetable oil, whichever one you're using. Stir until it's all combined. Once it looks like this, start kneading the dough with your hands. It is such a fun consistency that honestly I enjoy playing with this stuff myself. And that's it. Dump it into a big container and let the kids play. You can also include utensils and little toys to make it more fun. The next activity is finger paint. I found this paint too gritty to use with a paintbrush, but it works great with fingers, hands and cotton tips. What you'll need is food colouring of your choice and a container or bottles to store the paint, flour, salt and water. Add equal parts flour, salt and water into a large bowl. I use 2 cups of each. Then all you need to do is stir it all up. You need to stir it quite briskly to get out all of the lumps. Using a whisk would probably do the trick. Then divide your mixture evenly into your containers or bottles. Then all you have to do now is add the food colouring to each container or bottle and stir. These paints lasted a good couple of weeks in our cupboard, and when you go to use them next time, you just give it a stir or a shake. The next activity is Play-Doh. Now, if you don't have cream of tartar or you don't want to have to cook your Play-Doh, next I'll show you a Play-Doh recipe that doesn't require cream of tartar or any cooking. You can find cream of tartar at your regular grocery store in the baking aisle, and on the back it even has a recipe for Play-Doh. It makes a huge amount though, so I usually halve or sometimes quarter the recipe. First I'm going to add 1 cup of flour to a deep frying pan with 2 tablespoons of cream of tartar. Then I add half a cup of salt, one cup of water, and 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. You can use any food colouring that you like, but today I've chosen to make blue Play-Doh. Now I'm going to mix it all together over a medium-high heat. It was my first time making this recipe on an electric stove. It takes much longer on an electric stove compared to a gas stove. I needed high heat on the electric stove, but when I used to use the gas stove, I only needed it on a medium heat. As you can see, the mixture is starting to congeal. Just keep stirring, making sure that all the mixture is heated up. Once you're happy with the mixture, dump it onto a heat-safe chopping board and knead the dough, but be careful, it will be hot. It's hard to get the kids involved in making this recipe as the dough is pretty hot when you take it out of the frying pan. This Play-Doh recipe feels the closest to store-bought Play-Doh, and it lasts a week or so if you store it in a Ziploc bag. And there you have it, Play-Doh. It's a little extra effort to cook it, but it's a much nicer consistency than the Play-Doh that you don't cook. Now I'll show you the super easy Play-Doh recipe that doesn't require cream of tartar or any cooking. It's a really simple recipe and Talil loves getting involved in making this one. All you need is salt, food coloring, flour and water. Place 1/4 cup of warm water into a bowl and add food coloring of your choice and stir until it's all mixed in. Next, in a separate bowl, add 1 cup of flour and 1/3 cup of salt. I've been making this Play-Doh recipe for quite a while, so I've played around with the measurements and found that these measurements are the best ones to give your Play-Doh the nicest consistency. Stir until it is completely combined. Now you're just going to take just under 1 cup of the dry mixture and add it to your food coloring. Now stir the mixture, keeping in mind that the ingredients aren't going to combine completely. It will end up a crumbly consistency. Once your mixture looks like this, start kneading the dough with your hands. Pick it up and have a feel of it. If it feels too sticky, add some more of the dry ingredients left in your bowl. Keep doing this until you're happy with how it feels. Then place it onto a chopping board and knead the dough until it's all combined. And that is your non-cooked Play-Doh. The next activity is probably Talia's favorite, rainbow sprinkles. Basically it's just colored rice, but in this household we call it rainbow sprinkles. This is also an extremely easy one to make. You will need 6 cups of rice in total, divided into 3. Add 2 cups of rice to a large Ziploc bag and add food coloring of your choice. Close the Ziploc bag, leaving some air inside, and shake until the food coloring has covered the rice. If you feel that it needs more food coloring, just add some more. Now I'm just going to repeat that process with different colors using 2 cups of rice. Now, you can leave the rice out in the sun to dry, but honestly, I just usually skip this step and let the kids play with the rice straight away. It's completely fine to do that. Just be aware that they might get a little staining on their hands if there's excess food coloring on the rice, but that's okay. It will just wash off in the shower. That's it. I then just tip the rice into a container with the colors unmixed and let the kids mix it in themselves. As I said, this is one of Talia's favorite activities to do at home. We add little animal figures and utensils to make it more fun and interesting for her. She honestly plays with this for hours. The next activity is sensory bags. This one can take a bit of practice to get right, but the kids love it. You'll need some laminating pouches, some interesting things to put inside your sensory bag, and some food coloring, and a hair straightener. Mine is really dirty, don't mind that. Use your hair straightener to seal the long edges, leaving one end open. Now prepare the things that you would like to put inside your sensory bag by taking them out and putting them on your table or bench. The reason I do this is because once the water is added to the bag, it gets a little tricky to juggle everything. Now add your water to the bag and use your judgment as to how much water you would like to put into your sensory bag. You can lay it flat, being careful not to spill the water out, to get an idea of your water level. Now I'm going to add the food coloring. I use my metal straw to dip into the food coloring and stir it into the water. The first couple of times I made these bags, I poured the food coloring in by hand and made the water far too dark to even see the fun things inside. Once you're happy with the color, it's time to add your fun things. You can add anything you want to these bags. It doesn't have to be craft items. Talia loves getting involved in this part. She loves to watch the things float in the water and sink to the bottom, which is why we put the water in first and then add the fun things. Now this is the tricky part. Lay the bag down, being careful not to spill all the water out. Get as much of the air out as possible. Try not to leave too many air bubbles in the bag. Now seal the open side with your hair straightener. Once your bag is ready to go, tape it to the ground. I find if I don't do this, my 7-month-old pulls it around and tries to eat it instead of actually playing with it. All of our 4 kids love these sensory bags. Our oldest is 11 and our youngest is 7 months old, but they all love these bags. Just make sure that when your kids are playing with these bags, to not leave them unattended. The next activity is water play. It's the easiest activity to do and Talia loves it. First up, I'm just going to fill a large container with water. I'm using warm water at the moment because it is winter here in Australia at the moment. But in the summer months, water play is great with cold water. Now I'm just going to take my trusty food coloring and that metal straw from before and add some food coloring to the water until I'm happy with the color. Now I'm just going to add some fun things to the water from the craft kit. I try to add some items that will float on top of the water and some little toys that will sink to the bottom so she can learn the difference. And that's it. Water play. Super easy. The last activity is slime. Talia loves getting involved in making this one too. The ingredients you need is glue, contact solution, bicarb soda, and food coloring. We just use the glue from Kmart as it's very inexpensive. Add 1 cup of school glue to a bowl. Now add 1 tablespoon of bicarb soda and stir until it is combined. Talia loves getting involved in stirring. Every single time we do these kinds of activities, she loves to stir the ingredients. Sometimes it gets a bit messy, but that's all in the fun of it. Then you're just going to add your food coloring. Any color will do, but today we chose to make green slime. You can also add glitter if you like. Stir until completely combined. Now add 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of contact solution and stir. Straight away you will see that the mixture will start to activate and turn into slime. It gets a bit tricky to stir once this happens, but keep stirring. Once you're unable to stir it any further, take the slime out and place it onto a chopping board. Knead the slime until you're happy with the consistency. This slime will only last the day in my experience, so make it in the morning and play all day long. I usually give Talia a baking tray to play with the slime on to avoid getting it into unwanted places. And there you have it, our favorite at-home activities to do with the kids. The thing I love about these activities is that they're really inexpensive and most of them you can do with just the things that you have in your pantry or laying around the house. I hope you get some inspiration from this video. If you try these activities, post a photo and tag me on Instagram. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. Bye!